Hello everyone and a warm welcome to my video essay. I will be talking about the BBFC. I have researched and analysed the company in specific elements. To start us off, the BBFC stands for the British Board of Film Classification. All standards of the BBFC must be in line with what the public consumers expect. They must take into account what the public finds acceptable in each age category, which we will talk about later, as well as complying with their own codes and rules and regulations. Every 4 to 5 years, the BBFC carries out major public consultation exercises to find out what the public think about the age ratings of films and videos before they are fully released and whether the classification standards meet the public concerns. The Classification Board adjusts its standards and criteria in response to any changes in public attitudes. In addition, the BBFC was established in 1912 by the film industry, when local authorities started to impose their own, widely varying censorship standards in film. The BBFC was set up to confirm a degree of uniformity to the standards which are set. This was done to create a judgment system that is acceptable on a national scale. The independent company needed to gain trust of local authorities, Parliament, the press, and public. It must not only be independent, but to be seen to be so, taking care, for example, that the film industry does not influence its decisions, and that pressure groups and the media do not determine its standards. The first guideline category is U, which is universal, suitable for all. Discrimination is not accepted unless influencers disapprove of it. Drugs must have a clear educational purpose or an anti-drug message. Imitable behaviour. Children could copy antisocial behaviour, so it must be clearly disapproved of. Language. No frequent use of bad language. It is not accepted and not supported. Nudity is allowed, but with no sexual reference. Sex. Only mild sexual behaviour is accepted, like kissing or hugging. Threat. Unsettling sequences should be mild, brief, and unlikely to cause upset, reassuring outcome afterwards. Violence should be very mild, accepted as comedic, animated, or wholly unrealistic. The next category is PG, which is parental guidance. General viewing, but some scenes may be unsuitable for young children. Discrimination is unlikely to be accepted unless clearly disapproved of. Drug references. To illegal drugs or the misuse of drugs must carry a suitable anti-drug message. Imitable behaviour. No focus on antisocial behaviour which children can copy. No detail to be shown if potentially dangerous. Language. Mild bad language only. Nudity. Maybe nudity with no sexual content. Sex. Sexual activity may be implied, but should be discreet and infrequent. Threat. Threatening sequences should not be prolonged or intense. Violence. Should be mild, however, moderate violence without detail is accepted. The next category is 12 or 12A, which is suitable for 12 years and over. Discrimination must not be endorsed at all. Aggressive language or behaviour is unlikely to be accepted unless clearly condemned. Drugs. The misuse of drugs must be infrequent, should not be glamorised or give detail. Imitable behaviour. No endorsement of antisocial behaviour, no realistic weapons or promotion of dangerous behaviour which children can copy. Language. Moderate language is tolerated, and strong language may be permitted depending on the matter which is used and the frequency of the language. Nudity. There may be nudity, but if used in a sexual content, it must be discreet and brief. Sex may be briefly portrayed, but frequent crude references are not likely to be accepted. Threat. Moderate physical and psychological threat or horror sequences. Some sequences may be disturbing, but overall tone should not be disturbing at all. Violence. Moderate violence, but should not dwell on detail and should not focus on injuries or blood or occasion gory moments may be permitted. Sexual violence may only be implied or briefly indicated, and its deception must be justified by content. This category is 15, suitable only for 15 years and over. The work as a whole must not endorse language or behaviour, although they may be racist or homophobic or other discrimination themes. Drugs. Taking drugs may be shown, but the work as a whole must not promote or endorse drug misuse. Imitable behaviour. Dangerous behaviour must not be dwelt on, for example, suicide or self-harming, none of which should be shown in detail. Language. There may be strong language, very strong language may be permitted depending on the matter in which it is used, who is using it and the frequency. Nudity. There may be nudity in the sexual content, but usually without strong detail. Sex. Sexual activity may be portrayed, but usually without strong detail. There may be strong verbal references to sexual behaviour, but the strongest references are unlikely to be acceptable unless justified by content. There may be a strong threat or horror. A sustained focus on sadistic or sexual threat is unlikely to be acceptable. Violence. Violence may be strong, but should not dwell of the implication of pain or injury. Gory images are unlikely to be acceptable. Sadistic violence, which is strong, is also unlikely to be acceptable. There may be detailed verbal references to sexual violence, but the deception of sexual violence must be discreet and justified by content. The next category is 18, suitable only for adults. Adults should be free to choose their own entertainment. Exceptions are most likely in the following areas: where the material is in breach of the criminal law or has been created through the commission of criminal offence, where material or treatment appears to us to risk harm to individuals or through where there are more explicit images of sexual activity in the content of work, or where the primary purpose of the images in question is sexual arousal. Sex education at 18. Where sex material is genuine to educate or to inform as human sexuality or safer sex or health, explicit images of sexual activity may be permitted. Thank you for listening to my video essay on the BBFC. I'm Paige, and I'll see you next time on my channel.